Well, looks like we have enough light to do this, so it's a small update this week. And I'm not quite sure when this video will get posted, but, I might as well, since I'm bored out of my fucking mind, do the, recording part of this now. It looks like we only have Majestic Prince Genetic Awakening. Surprised I was able to just do that. My fingers are numb enough. This is a pretty cool Blu-ray. I'm not even going to toss it aside. So it's just the one Blu-ray. But yeah, let's see. Movie. Episode audio. So there's an English dub. Region A only. It looks like this is either episode 25 plus movie on one disc. And there's our one disc. I know, kind of lighting is a little weird, but it seems to be good enough, so I guess we're going to go with this. And then also I got from Limited Run Games, Return of the Obra Dinn, which is a very interesting. You kind of get insights into the past on the ship that came back with some really interesting graphics. So there's a nice little card. That's the Limited Run Game card. Pretty cool. I know it's a small update, but given that I haven't had power for 35 hours, well, I wouldn't expect deliveries to happen, let alone, more. But this week's anime DVD collection update. And I think compared to last week, I did watch a little more No Guns Life. Is that what this was called? It's really hard to tell in this light. It's kind of dark. But, I at least got past the first episode on the second disc, which means I'm 7 to 9 episodes in. I'm not quite sure. Something like that. And, it's continued to be good. I'm a little bit worried about the fact that it's only as many episodes as it is, and it doesn't feel like it's expanded enough. But if it's one season, then maybe it ends on a notable note. But it probably ends pretty much going through all the characters in the opening. One thing I forgot to mention last week is the opening for No Guns Life is pretty nice. I wouldn't say it's like one of my favorite openings per se, but it's definitely one of those ones where you can listen to it every time. It kind of gets you a little bit in the mood for watching the show, so that's good for it. Let's see, with my friend I did finish watching the end of Reincarnated as a Slime, and it was pretty interesting. I couldn't remember exactly how it ended, other than it had that weird one-off episode at the very end, which seemed halfway between relevant and irrelevant, where it's like it introduced us to a character that it showed on the previous episode to a certain degree and gave us certain ideas of certain things, but hard to tell the relevance. But then the last story arc, I kind of realized, is a little more relevant than I would have thought, because it's kind of not the action-y end of a season that you would expect, and that's probably why they had the other episode added on the end, but it does have some pretty relevant stuff, which has me curious for season 2, because usually Reincarnated as a Slime, like I mentioned, it almost always introduces something before it actually uses it, and a contrary to that sort of problem is that it's never really done anything that I would call story building until maybe near the end of the second disc there, which is something I don't think I picked up on as strongly as I did this time. And I've got a lot of thoughts there, but talking about those would be a spoiler for anybody that hasn't seen it. But I do think that of all the stuff that happened in there, in terms of the stuff that was set up story-wise in the first episode or two, the really relevant stuff seems to be there. Which is interesting because it pretty much means that the rest of the anime you're enjoying, not because of the story building it's doing, but rather because of the village building as I've described it before. But yeah, I watched that with my friend. You know, we finished that back when I still had power. But yeah, I guess I ended up going through the weekend without watching any No Guns Live. Part of it was just, you know, kind of being a little sleepy and out of it. And then, you know, Monday I had absolutely no choice to watch it because about 2 a.m. Sunday evening, power's been out, or went out, and it's been about 35 hours. It's pretty cold in here. I know I seem pretty chill without my jacket, and that's because I can be pretty temperature tolerant. And I did just walk to Target to buy a comforter for my bed because when I'm not feeling so cold tolerant, the blankets I had just weren't cutting it. You know, it's pretty hard. But otherwise, I'm mostly worried about the fact that it's cold enough in here that there's probably burst pipes. I don't know what that's going to mean once everything thaws out. I would really just like power to come back on. Because even if I'm not turning on computers and TVs and stuff, it would be kind of nice for the heater to be working, so my apartment could at least be 68 degrees. But yeah, other than all of that, I'm hanging in okay. Fortunately, the apartment complex comes with a gas stove, and so with a little lighter thing, I can light it and boil water for heated food. And I've got plenty of other snackables, so I'm not running out of calories anytime soon. And as long as I'm not running out of calories, as long as I can thermally seal myself up, I can, you know, sit down and sleep for an amount of time. So, yeah, you know, I'm hanging in there, although sanity is, I don't know, maybe it's being the same. Or maybe it's slower because here I am recording this video even though I've got no fucking power, and I'm not going to process this video until after the power comes back on. I mean, I have battery life on my Mac, so in theory might be able to get through the process, but wouldn't be able to upload unless I copied it over to the phone. But even still, if I did all that, there's a very real possibility that I run out of power in the middle of doing that, and yeah. So I don't know when y'all are seeing this. I hope y'all do see this. It's been crazy times. It's like 2021 told 2020, here, hold my beer. But on the bright side, at least the coronavirus masks kind of help feel like they retain heat when you're out and about going to Target. And it was really interesting. Target didn't have power either, I think. And I think they're using a generator. But what that basically meant was that the lighting inside the store was darker than a CD bar. So pretty fucking dark. And they could make registers work, but not the rolly belt that moves item or product along. Now fortunately, I just went there to get a comforter and some extra hand towels, but yeah. Strange times. Alright, well, I hope y'all have been with power, or if y'all have been without power, you've been hanging in there. I hope we all get power again soon. I figure out why the hell this all happened in the first place, but y'all, take care of yourselves, okay?